Welcome to my channel, Philosophy of Stoicism. Have you ever noticed her avoiding eye contact, keeping her distance, or acting completely indifferent when you're around? At first glance, it may seem like she has no interest in you whatsoever. But what if there's more beneath the surface? Women often express themselves in intricate ways, concealing emotions behind subtle cues, unexpected actions, and even contradictions. What if her distant behavior isn't rejection, but rather a shield for feelings she's trying to suppress? Today we're diving into 10 undeniable signs that indicate a woman might be pretending not to like a man, when in reality, she does. These subtle behaviors, though easy to overlook, could completely change how you interpret her actions. From discreet body language to silent emotional defenses, we'll decode the hidden signals she may not even realize she's sending. If you've been second-guessing her intentions or wondering whether her aloofness masks genuine interest, this video is for you. Stay with us as we reveal the key signs that can help you see her behavior in a whole new light. Your answers begin now. 1. The social butterfly illusion. Imagine a woman in a lively crowd, effortlessly engaging with everyone, laughing, chatting, and commanding attention wherever she goes. But when it comes to one particular guy, she suddenly becomes distant. Is she truly indifferent? Or is there more to her behavior? This is what we call the social butterfly illusion, a tactic women sometimes use consciously or subconsciously to conceal their feelings. When a woman is drawn to someone but doesn't want to make it obvious, she may amplify her social presence, especially when he's nearby. You'll notice her actively engaging with others while avoiding direct interaction with him. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together now. Let's begin. At first, it might appear as if she's uninterested, but in reality, she's subtly drawing his attention without being too forward. She wants him to notice her confidence, charm, and engaging personality, but without making it seem like she's trying to impress him. Underneath her lively chatter, however, there's often an underlying nervousness. She's hyper-aware of his presence, even as she appears to ignore him. This approach may seem contradictory, but it's actually a strategic way to create intrigue, making herself seem just out of reach to pique his curiosity. Want to know if this behavior is intentional? Pay attention to the details. Does she steal quick glances when she thinks you're not looking? Does her energy seem heightened when you're around? If so, her social detachment might not be indifference at all. It could be a carefully crafted way of capturing your attention while keeping her feelings under wraps. 2. The I'm too busy excuse. Another sign that a woman may be disguising her interest is when she suddenly becomes the busiest person on the planet. Perhaps she cancels plans at the last minute, claims her schedule is packed, or takes ages to reply to messages with vague excuses like, "I've been swamped," or "Things have been crazy lately." At first glance, this might seem like a clear indicator of disinterest, but in many cases, it's actually a protective mechanism, her way of creating distance without completely cutting off the connection. By making herself seem unavailable, she gives off an air of independence and nonchalance, avoiding the risk of appearing overly eager. Yet if she truly had no interest, would she still keep tabs on you? Here's how to tell the difference. Does she subtly check up on you through mutual friends? Does she remain active on social media while taking her time to respond to you? These small details might indicate she's more invested than she lets on. Additionally, she may practice selective responsiveness, ignoring some messages while responding with enthusiasm to others. This push-and-pull dynamic often stems from uncertainty or the fear of revealing her emotions too soon. Though frustrating, this behavior isn't necessarily a sign of rejection. Instead, it's often a way to gauge how much effort you're willing to put in to break through her guarded exterior. If she still finds ways to stay connected, despite maintaining the "I'm too busy" act, it's likely that she's protecting her emotions rather than expressing true disinterest. 3. The art of subtle flirting. Flirting doesn't always have to be loud or obvious to be meaningful. When a woman is trying to mask her feelings, she might tone down her flirtation, relying on small, barely noticeable cues instead of overt gestures. Unlike straightforward flirting that includes direct compliments or playful teasing, subtle flirting operates in the realm of ambiguity. She'll leave just enough room for interpretation, making you wonder whether her actions are intentional or coincidental. So, what does this look like? It could be a fleeting touch as she walks past you, a lingering glance or a half-smile that disappears as quickly as it appears. She may stay engaged in conversations just long enough to make an impression, yet not long enough to make her interest too obvious. Playful teasing is another classic example. She might joke about something you said, or offer backhanded compliments, comments that hint at admiration, but are disguised in a casual, teasing manner. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together. Now let's begin. Then there are the more nuanced signals. Small tilts of her head when she listens to you, soft laughter that lingers longer than necessary, or a change in her tone when she speaks to you compared to others. These nonverbal cues create a bridge between indifference and attraction, allowing her to test the waters while keeping her emotions guarded. The key to spotting subtle flirting is to look at the consistency of these behaviors. If these small, seemingly insignificant actions keep repeating, chances are they're not accidental. They're her way of showing interest while keeping her true feelings hidden. By the end of this video, you may start recognizing these signs in a completely different way. If you've ever questioned whether her distance was disinterest or a shield for deeper feelings, you now have the tools to decode her actions. Stay tuned as we continue uncovering more signs that could reveal when a woman is secretly interested, even when she's pretending not to be. Don't miss what's coming next. Your answers are just getting started. The subtle clues that reveal more than words. When it comes to deciphering someone's true feelings, the smallest details often speak the loudest. Her true emotions aren't always in what she says, but in the pauses, the unsaid words, and the fleeting moments where she seems caught between revealing something and holding back. The push and pull game. Few things are as perplexing as someone who sends mixed signals, warm and inviting one day, distant and indifferent the next. If you've ever felt like you're on an emotional seesaw with her, experiencing a roller coaster of engagement and withdrawal, you might be witnessing the classic push and pull game. One moment, she's all smiles, laughing at your jokes, and making you feel like the center of her world. Then suddenly she pulls back, acts uninterested, or even avoids you altogether. For many men, this inconsistency feels confusing and frustrating, but it's often a deliberate emotional strategy. So why does she do this? It usually boils down to one of two reasons. Either she's genuinely interested, but afraid of appearing too vulnerable, or she's testing how much you value her. By shifting between warmth and distance, she keeps her emotions under control while gauging your level of investment. If she gives you attention just enough to keep you intrigued, but then withdraws before you can get too close, she's likely trying to maintain emotional safety. This unpredictability makes her harder to figure out, keeping you engaged while also shielding her from potential rejection. Want to spot this pattern? Look for rhythm in her emotional shifts. Does she show enthusiasm one day and complete detachment the next? If so, this behavior isn't about disinterest. It's about creating emotional intrigue while carefully managing her feelings. 5. The jealousy test. Jealousy can be one of the most revealing indicators that someone is suppressing their emotions. When a woman is pretending not to care about a guy, she may still exhibit subtle, or not so subtle, signs of possessiveness. For instance, she might casually mention other men, flirt with someone else when you're nearby, or show an unusual interest in who you're spending time with. On the surface, these actions may appear indifferent or even dismissive, but they often serve a purpose: to provoke a reaction from you. By introducing another person into the equation, she accomplishes two things. First, it creates distance between the two of you, allowing her to maintain the illusion of disinterest. Second, it becomes a test. She wants to see if you'll react, if you'll care, and most importantly, if you'll show signs of jealousy. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together. Now let's begin. If she flirts with someone else, pay attention to her subtle glances in your direction. Is she checking to see if you noticed? If so, this is no accident. She's measuring your response. Another version of this test is casually name-dropping. "Oh, I have plans this weekend," without specifying with whom, leaving room for you to wonder. At its core, the jealousy game is about stirring the pot just enough to gauge your emotions while keeping hers under wraps. So how can you tell if she's using this tactic? Watch for sudden shifts in her behavior when you interact with other women. If she becomes noticeably more engaged, curious, or even flustered, chances are she's more invested in your attention than she wants to admit. 6. The secret glances. Imagine this. You're in the same room as her, engaged in separate conversations or activities, and yet every now and then you catch her stealing a quick glance in your direction. The moment you lock eyes, she looks away, as if nothing happened. This is what we call the glance game, one of the most telling signs that a woman is suppressing her interest. These fleeting, stolen looks are a way for her to observe you without making it obvious. She wants to see what you're doing, gauge your reactions, and perhaps unconsciously satisfy her curiosity. Her body language can often reveal an internal struggle. She may pretend to be fully engrossed in something else, but her wandering gaze betrays her true feelings. The moment she gets caught staring, she looks away quickly, attempting to hide her interest. Why does she do this? Because even when someone tries to downplay their emotions, it's difficult to suppress genuine attraction. Watching someone they find intriguing is almost second nature, even if they don't want to acknowledge it. If you suspect she's playing the glance game, start paying attention to her reactions. Does she turn slightly in your direction when you move? Does her posture shift when you enter the room? If her gaze repeatedly finds its way to you, even in a crowded setting, it's a clear sign that her supposed indifference may not be so genuine after all. 7. The accidental encounters. Ever had her unexpectedly bump into you, drop something near you, or find a way to cross your path at just the right moment? These oops moments might seem completely random, but in reality, they're often carefully engineered. When a woman is drawn to someone but doesn't want to be obvious about it, she may create these, though seemingly coincidental, interactions. It's her way of forming small, spontaneous moments of connection without having to actively pursue you. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop, and she brushes past you a little too closely. Or maybe you're in class or at work, and she suddenly drops her belongings near your feet, prompting a brief interaction. While these gestures appear accidental, they often aren't. What makes these oops moments interesting is that they provide her with a safe excuse to engage with you. She doesn't have to admit any feelings. After all, it was just an accident, right? But in reality, it allows her to see how you react while subtly drawing your attention. If you notice these types of encounters happening more frequently than seems natural, it might not be coincidence at all. She could be creating these opportunities as a way to stay close, interact, and gauge your response, all while maintaining the illusion that it was just by chance. Final thoughts. Understanding the hidden messages. When a woman is trying to mask her feelings, her behavior may seem unpredictable, even contradictory. But if you look closely, the clues are always there. From inconsistent engagement to subtle glances, from the occasional jealousy test to orchestrated encounters, each action carries meaning. The key is to observe the patterns. If she truly didn't care, she wouldn't put in the effort to play these games. The more subtle signs she exhibits, the more likely it is that her supposed indifference is just a well-constructed disguise. So next time you find yourself questioning her intentions, pay attention to the details. Her true feelings might be hidden beneath layers of mixed signals, but once you know what to look for, decoding them becomes much easier. Stay tuned as we uncover even more surprising ways women hide their interest. Your answers are just beginning. Spoken clues that reveal hidden affection. At first glance, some actions may seem entirely random, but they often have a deeper meaning. When a woman wants to gauge your interest without making her feelings obvious, she may orchestrate small, seemingly accidental encounters. These moments allow her to interact with you briefly, observe your reaction, and assess how you respond to her presence. But why does she rely on these subtle interactions instead of openly starting a conversation? The answer lies in her desire to bridge the gap without making herself too vulnerable. Approaching you directly might feel too risky, so she creates natural opportunities for engagement, ones that seem coincidental, but are actually quite intentional. If these oops moments happen more frequently than chance would suggest, it's worth considering whether they're truly accidents or calculated attempts to get your attention. Pay attention to what happens immediately after. Does she laugh nervously? Extend the interaction slightly longer than necessary, or seize the moment to spark a conversation. These small clues can reveal whether her actions are part of a carefully constructed effort to get closer while maintaining the illusion of indifference. 8. The teasing strategy. One of the oldest and most effective ways to disguise romantic interest is through playful teasing. When a woman is drawn to someone but isn't ready to be upfront about it, she may resort to light-hearted jabs, sarcasm, or friendly challenges as a way of building a connection. At first glance, her remarks might seem indifferent or even dismissive, but beneath the surface they often carry hidden emotions she's not yet ready to fully express. Her teasing could take the form of a witty remark about your habits, a joke about something you said, or a playful dare that challenges you in a light-hearted way. For example, she might say something like, "That's the best you've got," after you share an idea or mock your taste in music without actually meaning it. But here's the thing. Her teasing isn't meant to put you down. Instead, it's her way of creating a dynamic that feels fun and engaging, giving both of you a way to interact without the pressure of addressing deeper emotions. If you respond with similar playfulness, you may notice her energy shift, her laughter lingers, her smiles become more frequent, and her demeanor softens. The real key here is how she reacts when you tease her back. If she enjoys the banter, plays along, or even blushes slightly, it's a sign that her teasing isn't just friendly. It's flirtatious. While it might seem like simple banter on the surface, this technique allows her to engage with you in a way that feels natural while subtly testing the waters for something more. 9. The silent treatment, aka the ignoring game. One of the most perplexing tactics women use when hiding their feelings is pretending you don't exist. She may act as if your presence doesn't affect her, barely acknowledge you in a group, or avoid engaging with you directly. At face value, this seems like a clear sign of disinterest. But is it? In reality, her cold demeanor could be a defense mechanism. She may be battling an internal conflict, wanting to interact with you but fearing rejection, uncertainty about your feelings, or simply not wanting to appear too eager. By acting indifferent, she tries to maintain control over her emotions while also observing how much effort you'll put into gaining her attention. However, if she's deliberately ignoring you, her true feelings often slip through in subtle ways. Look for contradictions. Does she avoid initiating conversations but always seem to be nearby? Does she take forever to reply to your messages but consistently watch your social media updates? These are signs that she's trying to keep her emotions in check while staying connected from a distance. To decode her intentions, notice how she reacts when you shift the dynamic. If you give her attention, does she momentarily soften before retreating again? Does she react to compliment with a flicker of surprise before going back to her aloof act? If so, her ignoring behavior might not be about disinterest. It could be a way to protect herself from revealing too much too soon. Conclusion. Reading between the lines. Deciphering whether a woman is pretending not to like you while secretly feeling the opposite can be like piecing together a puzzle. From playful teasing to moments of unexpected vulnerability, her behavior often holds subtle, yet revealing clues. The key is to pay attention to the patterns. A single action might not mean much, but when multiple signs align, frequent, accidental encounters, teasing that feels more like flirting, or distant behavior that contradicts her level of awareness around you, it's likely that her supposed indifference is just a carefully constructed shield. Understanding these signals requires patience and emotional intelligence. If you notice these behaviors, respond in a way that makes her feel at ease. Give her the space to reveal her emotions naturally, while showing that you recognize the depth behind her actions. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Philosophy of Stoicism for more real, relatable advice on navigating the complexities of love and relationships. Remember, relationships take time, care, and effort, but the rewards are worth it. When fear and caution are met with understanding and patience, they transform into trust and connection. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. This video is for informational and inspirational purposes only. It does not constitute professional advice, medical guidance, or psychological counseling.